Okay, so video number 2 on the 65 Volkswagen, and I'm sorry for the glare from the overhead lights there. Try to do the best I can with this thing. Strip down. Most of it's all taken apart. All the fenders and everything are off there now. Pulled all the wiring, all the little pieces off of the interior. Still a few more things to empty out. We've got all the bolts out so we can take the pan off of the body. We disassembled all the doors, took all the pieces out of there. As I talked about in the first video, this does have some extensive rust in the heater channels in the floor, so those will need to be replaced. So I will need to brace up the body before we attempt to lift it off. So that is the next step, is to weld some braces on there. That way we don't get any distortion. We can line up our doors and everything. So when we go to marry the body back to the pan, we don't have any issues with fitment. Some other things found here: the motor, which we thought was a good motor, is actually not a good motor. The motor is bad. The motor that came in this car was a 1500. I'm sorry, the lighting's kind of bad on that, but it's seized. So we'll pull the motor out, set it aside for now, and just plan on focusing on getting the heater channels in, and then working on the pan, the suspension. We'll check the transmission, make sure the transmission's in good shape, and we'll have to rebuild the things like the brakes and any of the linkages, and of course all the new wiring and everything will have to go into it as part of the restoration process. Again, this is just kind of an overview of where we're at so far. Found some more rust in the rear welds after taking off the fenders. Looks like we're probably going to need some rear quarter work in there and some floor work. A pretty good section of the floor, and I'll grab a light here that we can take a look at. There, we'll brighten some things up. As you can see, you've got some holes in the floor. There's one right there I'll have to patch, and there's some more down here at the bottom, this side, and on the passenger side as well. But you can see the extensive rust that's into the floor, part of the heater channel, the switch area and all that is in rough shape. Of course, this is that's all falling out. There's been a lot of places patched on here. I've pulled a couple patch panels off already that somebody made and pop riveted in. Sabrina's been doing a pretty good job of tearing apart the interior. Last night she took out the glove box, she pulled out the speedometer, we took out the steering column earlier in the evening. So she's helping get everything out. She disconnected all the wiring and everything last night and cleaned a lot of the car out. Still have a little more to go, the insulation and things, so we can get it down to bare bones to make it easier to work on the vehicle. Go back here, I'll show you the motor one more time. And like I said, I was told it's a 1500. I really don't know much about these motors, kind of a learning process for me, but did go through a couple procedures. I was told when we bought the vehicle, and I didn't test it when we bought the vehicle, that the engine did start but didn't run for more than a few seconds, shut back off. So I thought maybe it was a fuel delivery issue or some kind of electronic issue or electric issue. Turns out it's not. The motor doesn't even bump over, so kind of a little setback there. But like I said, it's all got to come apart anyways for us to restore the bug like we want, to make it a nice, clean, competent driver car. So we'll take that apart, and that'll be just something to set on a bench and figure out as time goes on. A couple other things I found out that were kind of tricky. Playing with the doors. The car is fairly simple to work on. Didn't have many problems at all. Had a few places where I had to heat screws, bolts, things like that to help ease them out. But taking the door apart was pretty self-explanatory. And we found out that this driver door, the window had been shattered in there before. Tons of shards of glass in the bottom. Same with the rear window. Somebody broke the rear window before as well. So somebody put a second rear window in the car. Let's see what else on the front. I was told it had new shocks on it. that is not the case. The shock is actually blown on the driver's side, and it's just old and poor on the passenger side. Of course, those will probably get replaced. And now with the tank and everything out of the way, you can see down in there spaces on our steering, the tie rods, the steering dampener shock, and some rust actually that we have down there on the bottom of the front. I guess you would call, I don't know if you'd call this the firewall or not on these cars. But like I said, most of this has all been taken apart. The radio still has to come out. We got all the windows out of it. The front windshield was cracked, so we didn't worry about saving that. But we do have the other windows, the both right and left, the both rear windows, and the curved windshield, curved rear windshield. As far as these side windows go in the back, we both decided we want to do the pop-out windows. So I'm going to try to retrofit those from the earlier style bug into this model. Kind of like that design a little bit more. Kind of makes it look sleeker. She did agree with me on lowering it, which is pretty cool because I think these bugs lowered down look pretty cool. We are going to stick with the steel rim, but I think we're going to go with a wider rim in the back. Still keeping with the wide fives. I don't think we're going to stick with the 15x5 though. I think we're going to try to fit a wider tire, of course, if we're going to go the wider rim. The front, I'm not too sure about yet. We haven't really looked into it. Like I said, that's a long way down the road. Right now, our only goal was to strip the car and brace the body and be able to lift the car off of the pan so we can do the work that needs to be done in the heater channels. And then as I'm working the pan and suspension, she's going to be working the inside and cleaning everything, and then we're going to have the body stripped so we can do all the metal work that needs to be done on it. Other than that, a lot of pieces that we thought might have been with the car aren't with the car. Chrome trim, things like that we thought might be salvageable is actually pretty far gone. Doesn't look like we'll be able to save that, but that's not an issue. Everything's available aftermarket. We've been researching things like J-Bugs and other guys on YouTube. That a gentleman named Chris in New Jersey has a VW restoration company, puts out great videos, so I've been watching those. Kind of give us an idea where we want to go with this. Like I said, I want it to be a clean Volkswagen. I'm not going for a 100-point inspection car, just a nice cruiser for us to have on the weekends and for the family to enjoy. And hopefully give her something she can enjoy too, car shows, while I'm playing with my C10 trucks. So, like I said, there's some extensive work that we have to do. I'll show you this down in here. This is what we're looking like, the rear shock area and where the body bolt section is. If you can see that, where it's all rotted out pretty good. Areas like that are going to take a lot of attention for us, and I basically have to build around the windows in the rear and the front. See where all that's all rotted out from water sitting. So we'll get that taken care of. So we just want to make this quick video, kind of go over the car now that we have most of it stripped. And next I'll be bracing up the body. We'll get it all measured out right so the body doesn't twist on me while we're doing body work and on the horses. And hopefully the next video you see, everything will be apart. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like. I'm going to try to keep the videos up on this car. Maybe do some how-tos when I get to it. And check out my other stuff. If you like C10 trucks, Chevy stuff, I got a bunch of that stuff on there as well. Alright, take care.